you have to pass a vet check, which they check the heart, the trot, the gut sounds, everything to do with the horse. The vet, if there is one slight problem, the vet will pick it up.
We're feeding for a reason and feeding for the physiology of the horse, making the lives more simple for horse owners, horse trainers.
I was feeling amazing. The adrenaline was incredible. I was feeling amazing. Kelly's eye was very bright.
Welcome everyone to episode 135 of the Send Nutrition Podcast. You're with your host Bryan today. And on today's episode, I have a very special guest, and this comes off the back of the Tom Quilty Gold Cup, which was on the weekend, which has a very rich vein of history in terms of riders like R.M. Williams helped shape this event. And now in the 2024 version, over the 160 kilometres at Wirrina Cove in South Australia, Emma Ireland has won the event at the age of just 18. And I have Emma here now. How are you?
I'm very well, Bryan. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, a couple of days after coming home.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. This is an honour to be on here with you.
I have to sort of take a deep breath because I'm in awe of you because you're so young. You're only 18 and this was your fourth quilty?
Yes, fourth quilty.
And if you can just take us through, like, back to the beginning in this 2024 edition, did you have any expectations with Razorback Kelly's Fire, the horse?
I certainly did. So when I was 6 years old, I had a dream of winning the quilty in 2024, the year that I turned 18, so the year I would be able to win the Gold Cup. I've always had this dream. So at the start of 2024, I said to my mother, "Mum, this year I'm going to win the Gold Cup on Kelly." And she said, "Yep, you're going to do it." So the first race Razorback Kelly's Fire and I did together was a 1-star at Roma in Queensland. And after that, he was feeling amazing. And I was thinking, the stars are aligning. This is our year. So the following race after the 1-star was, my mother said to me, "Would you prefer to do Woodstock 120 kilometre or would you prefer to do the Shahzada Mini Marathon, which is 40 kilometres for 3 days, which equals 120 kilometres?" So I said to my mother, I would like to do Shahzada because I believe that will build him to be stronger for the quilty. So we did this and we went away for a week. We did 40 kilometres over 3 days. He was perfect the entire week. And then when he came home, he had a week off and then straight back into quilty training.
As you can hear, for our listeners, the preparation to go into such an iconic race, and it not only tests the limits of the horse and rider, but also it kind of demonstrates the connection and resilience you have to have. And for someone so young, you've got so much resolve when I talk to you and determination. And one thing I'm noticing about your family, so your mum as well, Jolene, it's all about manifesting the outcome and that dream that you had. It's like a pinch me moment.
Correct. Yes. It's all about manifestation.
And thinking positive, and it must just feel still surreal.
Very surreal. Very surreal.
And for our listeners that are not aware of what the Tom Quilty is, it is a prestigious event and it is something every endurance rider dreams of competing in, let alone winning. Can you take us through some of the history and your family connections with it?
So in 1983, my pop, Peter Cole, he won the prestigious event on a very famous stallion, Chip Chase Sadaka, who his bloodlines still live on to this day. So in 1983, my pop, Peter Cole, won the Tom Quilty Gold Cup. Sorry.
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
Yeah, all good, Ems.
11 years ago, my pop, Peter Cole, he passed away. And in 2019, which was my first Tom Quilty Gold Cup, my mother and we won together. I won the junior division and my mother won the heavyweight division. So 3 years ago, Matthew Walker, the breeder of Razorback Kelly's Fire, he broke Razorback Kelly's Fire in as a 5-year-old and said to my mother, I have a stallion for you to do endurance on. So later that year, after Kelly was broken in, Razorback Kelly's Fire came to our stable and we trained him to do endurance. His first ever endurance ride was an 80-kilometre endurance ride. And to be qualified for a 160, you have to do 3 80-kilometre rides. So Razorback Kelly's Fire did 3 80-kilometre rides with Essie Mountford because I was unable to ride him because under 18, you're not allowed to ride a stallion. And at this time, I was 16. So Razorback Kelly's Fire was ridden by one of our riders, Essie Mountford, and another rider, Lizzie Moyer. So the girls qualified Razorback Kelly's Fire, and in my first year of being 18, I did Kelly's first ride that year, which was a 1-star, and followed along with the Shazada, and then our third ride has just been the Tom Quilty Gold Cup, of which we have won together.
That's simply amazing. He's a 7-year-old stallion, is that right?
Yeah.
And what do you think makes him so special?
His breeding. So his grandfather is Chip Chase Sadaka, who my pop, Peter Cole, owned. So Razorback Kelly's Fire has incredible breeding. What makes him special, he is 15% stock horse. So he's not a purebred Arabian. He does have stock horse in him. The blood always speaks for itself. So Kelly's blood is incredible. His eye is incredible, and his will to do anything is phenomenal. You can ask him anything and he will do whatever is in front of him.
And I think it's also important, that rider-horse connection with yourself.
Very, very special. Kelly and I, we have a very special connection, one like I've never had with a horse before.
And over that 160 kilometres, if you can take our listeners through the setup of an endurance race with the loop amounts and also between them.
So the 160 kilometre event starts at 12 a.m., so midnight. This year it started on the 19th of October at 12 a.m. So the start of the race, they count down 3, 2, 1, and at 12 a.m. exactly, we take off into the dark of the night. And the first loop is 40 kilometres. So it's a 40-kilometre loop up a very long hill onto a ridge and then down a hill back into base. So it's a 40-kilometre loop. And then off the first loop, it was a 40-minute hold. So when you come into base off the first loop, you have to pass a vet check, which they check the heart, the trot, the gut sounds, everything to do with the horse. The vet, if there is one slight problem, the vet will pick it up. And so you have to pass a vet check, and after the vet check, you will take your horse back to the camp where they will get a hard feed and hay. With our horses, we put our horses' feet in ice buckets to cool the legs down, take any heat out of the legs. So we leave the horses in an ice bucket for 10 minutes. So that's off the first loop, and the first loop was a 40-minute hold. And then the second loop was another 40-kilometre loop, but we go out base a different way. So you scan a tag when you go out of base, which starts your time, and you do a 40-kilometre loop back into base, and the same thing. You have to pass a vet check, pass everything. Once again, if there's anything wrong with the horse off this loop, the vets will find it. So 40 kilometres, a hold 40 kilometres, and off the second loop, the hold is 50 minutes. So you have 50 minutes in the hold and then back out onto the third loop. The third loop is another 40-kilometre loop. And you do the same thing up another hill and back onto a ridge, back down a hill, and that is the third loop, back into base. You scan your tag again, into base, into vetting. The vet will pass the vet check. Some people, unfortunately, you may not pass the vet check and you get disqualified from the race. You can get disqualified from the race at any point of the race.
Part of that vet check with the heart rates, what's the definition to pass?
You have 30 minutes to take your horse into the vet ring, and your heart has to be below 60.
So that 60 beats per minute, and within that allotted time.
Off the third loop, you will come in and your heart has to be below 60 beats per minute within half an hour. Kelly, he's very blessed with his heart, and he had recoveries of approximately 6 minutes all day. Thanks to Sen Feed, it makes our recoveries very speedy. Everything runs very smoothly thanks to Sen. So off the third loop, we were in within 6 minutes with our heart below 60. So into the vet, back to the yard after passing a vet check. And when we get back to the hold, make another hard feed with our Sen supplement and our Sen ultimate feed. And he gets his feed while he's in the ice bucket for 10 minutes. So he has time to eat and cool his legs down in the hold. And then back onto the fourth loop. So going out onto the fourth loop, we were half an hour behind the front runners. And going up the hill, out on the fourth loop, we just jig-jogged up the hill. And at the top, the front leaders were stopped at a water trough. Kelly had a drink of water. Thanks to Sen, he also drinks very, very well during the race. Every water trough I asked him to drink at, he would drink at, and he's off again. So we jig-jogged up to the top of the hill. Once we got to the top of the hill on the fourth loop, I caught the front leaders, and Kelly just popped into a canter, cantered along the ridge, and then back down the base off the fourth loop. The same thing again. We have 30 minutes to go into vetting. You have 30 minutes again to go into vetting to get the heart rate below 60. So we went in with approximately 7 minutes this loop and into the vet off the fourth loop. And then the vet check was a pass. So we went back to the yard. His legs went back in the ice. We made him another hard feed with the supplements and the Sen ultimate feed. So he was able to eat again off the fourth loop before going out onto the last loop.
How are you feeling?
The whole off the fourth loop?
Yeah. Were you feeling confident?
I was feeling amazing. The adrenaline was incredible. I was feeling amazing. Kelly's eye was very bright. So the fourth loop was 20 kilometres. So by this time, we only have 20 kilometres to go. So Kelly was feeling incredible. I was feeling incredible. The adrenaline was amazing, but we knew we had to keep calm because anything can go wrong at any point. So we were just keeping calm. The adrenaline was running, but we were keeping calm. And this hold was 40 minutes. So off the fourth loop, it was a 40-minute hold. So he had his hard feed. His feet were in the ice. And then we scanned our tag to go back out onto the fifth loop. And back out onto the fifth loop. Myself, I cried the whole loop because I was just so excited, but I knew I had to keep it together. There were a lot of emotions going around. But Kelly, he was an absolute pro. He knew his job and he knew exactly what he had to do. So there was a very big hill going out to the fifth loop. So we just jig-jogged up that hill again. When we got onto the flat ground, he cantered along through the paddocks. So on this fifth loop, it was 15 kilometres exactly. So we went out 7.5 kilometres and there was a checkpoint. And Kelly had a nice big drink at this checkpoint, had a bit of grass, and then we turned back around for home, another 7.5 kilometres to home and back into base off the fifth loop. This feeling was incredible. It was a dream. Kelly was a dream. Everything was just perfect. The stars were aligned for us this day. Everything was incredible. Kelly was amazing. And we crossed the finish line. Kelly's heart was down to 48 within 15 minutes. So off the last loop, you have half an hour again to go into vetting, but we were in vetting within 15 minutes, and Kelly was just absolutely perfect. Everything was incredible.
I can speak from first-hand experience because I was there waiting and full of emotion and elation at the same time, because the race is not over until all the vet checks are cleared. Is that right?
Exactly right. The emotions waiting to go into vetting were incredible. Bryan, you were there with me after the fifth loop whilst we were waiting for vetting, and you know exactly how I was feeling. It was incredible. It was nervous, excited. All the emotions were going.
And for your mum, Jolene, I was next to her when you rode in, and I had to try and keep it together because she wasn't keeping it together. And it was just a tremendous experience to witness the tenacity that you showed in the whole event, and then the waiting, and then obviously the pass of the vet check.
It was incredible. We were so blessed to have you there, Bryan. Thank you so much for being there.
That's okay. The support that you guys have shown for us, and I remember Jolene saying to us when she first had success with the Send Feed program that you've changed my life, Bryan. It's made this simple. I don't have to think about what's going into the horse because I trust you guys and your ingredients and everything you put into it. And we are just one piece of the puzzle, because there are so many factors for a horse to be successful, the horse and rider to be successful in the Tom Quilty Gold Cup, and to do it back to back.
Yes, you guys have saved our life. Literally. Like Mother says, we don't have to think about what is going into the horses because it's all natural. Everything is just incredible. The horses love the feed more than they love anything. Last year, Ashley Cole, her horse, Tonki Debu Novak, was on the full Send Feed also, and as we can see, the Send Feed completely works. It is one piece of the puzzle, but it's a very, very big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and it's that balance that we pride ourselves in the overall diet, because we recognize some of the challenges you guys face with the sport of endurance. So muscle health is very important. Ingredients that are in feeds can be handbrakes to that muscle health. We've recognized this to keep it in balance, also making it pure and raw. But there's other things like hydration, so keeping them drinking, and that's not with, say, a molasses water. That's actually electrolytes and salt, and a real pure form, no sugar. And the other part is obviously that hindgut health and the whole digestive system health, because it's all in balance, because it's all fed for a reason and is designed to go with their physiology, that's including their blood, then that is where we come to the fore, and that's what's being demonstrated now with the back-to-back wins.
Exactly right, Bryan.
So, Emma, I'm just still in admiration for your age at just 18 years old, and it is actually technically the youngest you can win the Gold Cup.
Yeah, correct.
And you share that record now with Brooke Sample?
I do, yes.
Who is amazing too.
Brooke Sample, he is incredible.
And going on to your fitness as a endurance rider, is there anything that you take the steps to, like in terms of that midnight start, how it is on your body? And I guess you've just got the adrenaline pumping. Can you take us through how you feel? Like, do you feel sore now, or you're all good?
Yesterday, which was Monday, so 2 days after the race, I was feeling very fatigued, but like I said to you, when I get home, I'll be using the collagen. And I had collagen last night, and today I feel amazing.
Yeah, they're fantastic. It's great for your recovery and also that fascia around the muscles. And we're so happy that we can even support your health too in that fact. But when you look on the achievement that you've had, has it sunk in yet?
No, it has not sunk in yet, no.
I understand you did arrive back home yesterday. How did the team travel back?
So I flew home with Mum on Monday night, and the horses arrived the following day. And when they got off the float, I made them a sen feed, and they ate it up and got to their paddocks and were so happy to be home. But Kelly, he is very, very proud of what he has achieved. And it all has happened thanks to what goes into his gut. What goes into their gut is how their brain works, and everything has just worked perfectly. And Sen has made this possible.
Yeah, we are just one piece of that puzzle, but to have your support, we greatly appreciate it, even from your mum and also Chris Geddes, who is your mum's partner. He won the heavyweight on a Sen-powered mare as well that you trained.
He sure did. Yep. So Kurrajong Revolution, who my stepfather Chris Geddes has just won the heavyweight division at the Tom Quilty. She is also powered by Sen. Same with Razorback Kelly's Fire. They are both powered by Sen, and I've been fortunate enough to train the mare and the stallion. And like I said, what goes in their gut is how well their brain will work and how well their body will work. Everything has just been incredible. So to not only do it last year, Ashley Cole, powered by Sen, but to do it this year again, also powered by Sen, but with two horses. So Razorback Kelly's Fire was powered by Sen, and Kurrajong Revolution was powered by Sen. So 3 horses that have been powered by Sen in the last 2 years. Statistics prove itself. We have been using Sen for the past 2 years, and the past 2 years, this is what it has gotten us in the past 2 years.
And can you remember a time before Sen, what you saw in the horses compared to now?
The horses were not shiny. I had never seen a horse shine like they do now. Our horses are just glowing out of their skin. How it is now, we could never go back. We never, ever, ever could go back, ever.
And your mum tells me there's less heat in the legs as well.
What this speed does for our horses' muscles is next level.
And when we look at how the diet is set up, obviously we took into account your environment, the way you guys train them. And for our listeners, if anyone does want a one-on-one consult, we have that booking or that free diet analysis booking form on our website, which we're getting through around 100 diets a month, which is a good uptake. And I think we really appreciate you guys for showing that example with competing at the top level and winning at that top level, which is absolutely remarkable. And we not only align ourselves with you guys with the feeding, but I think our whole view and mindset on physical health is aligned as well. And it was just like a welcoming family that when I first met you guys at the Quilty, it was just, you guys are just such a positive vibe and know what you guys want to achieve. And I think it's that mindset that we really draw to and we really connect. So I can't thank you enough, Emma.
Bryan, we cannot thank you enough. Yourself, your vibe is incredible. What you bring to our horses, like I said, it's something out of this world. We never thought this would be possible, but you guys were the missing piece to our puzzle, and we're finally able to go up to the top with Sen. This is incredible what is happening right now. Hopefully we can go to the World Champs, and we will be taking your feed every single step of the way with us, all the way to the top. So thank you, Bryan, so much for your support. We could not possibly thank you enough.
Thanks so much, Emma. And it's just an honor to even have this support from you guys, and the world champs, they better watch out. And I think, so what's the plan for you for the next few months? Do you have any more rides?
So right now I will be going on a holiday with my father as he's coming back from London in 6 days. So I'll go on holiday with him for a little while. But as soon as the season starts again, we'll be straight back into preparation for the World Champs. So we will be doing FEI qualifying next year. Quilty is in Tasmania next year. Hopefully I'll ride Currajong Revolution there.
Amazing.
That would be incredible. So I really hope that you get to be there.
Oh, definitely. I'll make the trip across Bass Strait.
Yes, please do. Please do. So that will be incredible. So Quilty next year in Tasmania. FEI, so we have a few 2-stars to do, and maybe we will go to New Zealand in the off-season. We will see how it goes. But, yes, preparation for the World Champs begins in the start of next year. So the World Champs is in 2026 at Al Lula, which is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, wow. And the Tom Quilty is earlier next year in May, I understand?
Yep. So Tom Quilty Gold Cup is in May next year in Tasmania.
Have you ridden?
Sassafras.
Have you ridden in Tasmania?
I have not.
I saw in an interview you said that this was a very tough course due to the hills.
Yes, it was a very, very tough course, this Tom Quilty. Very tough. Kelly seemed to eat up the hills, literally, but it was very tough.
I think given the pass rate over the 130 entrants?
Yeah, 132, I believe.
Yeah, and given the rate of completion out of the 132 entrants, I think it was around that 55% mark.
Yep, 55% of the 132 people completed the race.
Yeah, so it's very taxing, and I think, and the weather was actually fine. So does it make it harder if it was wet?
The weather was very, very good to us. I have never ridden in South Australia before, but in 2017, the Quilty was also at the same base, and there was a storm during 2017. People were talking about how hard it was, and following into the Quilty this year, everyone said, if the weather's bad, it will not be good, but we were very blessed on the day with the weather.
Yeah, it was definitely shining, and I came back a little bit sunburnt too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it was definitely a really good time down there. It was very inspiring. The Quilty dinner was very interesting too, Emma.
The Quilty
on the
dinner
dance floor.
was amazing.
I think everyone drank out of the trophy at one stage on the dance floor.
That did happen, yes.
That did happen. That's correct. That's correct. I don't think anyone was going to escape not doing that.
No, I don't think anyone was going to escape that either. Not even yourself, Bryan.
No, that's right. And I think I was overawed because the amount of people that were coming up to me and just talking to me about how Sen has changed their stables and their completions even during the year, and even some non-Sen clients were asking questions. And for me, it's all about helping the horse at the end of the day, trying to get the right combination of feed and supplements for your horse and your training type. And I'm happy to consult any stables out there that want to really zero down in on any issues they're having with their horses, but also if their performance is lacking, trying to find that balance for their specific environment and training. And we do this day in, day out. It's one of the best things about Sen, or my role as one of the co-founders and the blood scientists here, is when I see the results, it just gives me the goosebumps, and knowing we're feeding for a reason and feeding for the physiology of the horse, making the lives more simple for horse owners, horse trainers, and the rider as well, because we really want to help the behavior of the horse as well. And it's all those puzzle pieces coming together, as Emma has said. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Emma.
Thank you so much, Bryan. Also, it is incredible that you guys do free consults for people. That is incredible. No amount of money could pay for the work that you guys do. Every minute of your life, you guys are just thinking, how can I do more and more? And you guys, the work you do, it's incredible that no amount of money could pay what you guys do. It's incredible. And that you guys do free consults, oh my God, that is just amazing.
Yeah, no,
everyone out there needs to feed Sen. I am so serious. Everyone needs to be on Sen.
Thank you. The team is very passionate, and we are here to help. We think of the horse's health at the end of the day, and we've been going for over 10 years now. We have the most popular horse nutrition podcast on Spotify. I think nearly up around the 105,000 listens, which has been going on throughout the years. And this year we've concentrated on bringing out content every week, which is really giving the exposure. But for our listeners, we want them to take away something from each podcast that they didn't know about their horse, and really show and demonstrate how effective our products are and the results that we're getting. And Emma, you're just a perfect example of someone that's really inspirational. And as a young rider, how do you see the landscape of endurance at the moment? Like, is there more young riders coming through?
There is a lot more young riders coming through. So Jay Randall in Queensland, she brings young riders into the sport, which is so incredible for our sport that she's doing this, and it's bringing a lot more young riders in. But we need to get more people to find out about Sen. The more you guys advertise, the bigger it will be. So the horses that are on Sen are just excelling like no other. It's incredible what you are doing for our sport. Bryan, we cannot thank you enough.
Thanks so much, Emma. And we can't thank you guys enough for your support, and the whole team, like your whole family and team back at home. And I actually can't wait to see everyone again for the next Quilty or even along my travels. So thank you once again for all your time today, Emma. I think you deserve to put your feet up, have a beer, or what's your drink of choice now that you're 18?
Green tea.
Green tea? What, no alcohol?
No, alcohol's only for Quilty parties.
Amazing. That's discipline. That is definitely discipline. But no, it was so fun to really hang out with you guys. You're an inspiration, and we wish you all the best for the future. Have some time off now, have a break and recover, and hopefully we'll talk to you next year again.
Bryan, you are an inspiration to us, and please, we could not do this without you. So thank you so much for being on board. And as you know, some people will hop on the bus to go to the top, others will jump off, but you have been on the bus with us the whole time, and we're going to the top. I cannot wait, Bryan.
We will leave it there. That was well said, Emma. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bryan. Thank you very, very much.